Welcome, everybody, to Mud Flood Was Armageddon. Mud Flood was Armageddon. Don't let them tell you anything else unless they're willing to debate you in a fair and honest way. Creature of habit. I'm going to have to set up the share screen thing. I've been kind of stressing over this. Is a big deal video to me. That's why I needed to dot the I's, cross the T's, make sure I show this, and then remind myself if I have any pictures. This corn, there's no way this rock hard weed turned into corn because the secession of Aboriginal, indigenous Native Americans in Mexico said, you know what? If we stay with this for about 4,000 years, we'll be able to eat it without breaking our teeth. Teosinte is how that's pronounced. It seems fake. The engine that traps carbon more efficiently. It's corn. Corn did everything. You'll hear more from her later. Did you know that 330 ostrich, even this guy's going like, look, I know it's a creepy magic number in appearing, but why'd they kill all the ostriches? That's a big deal. Why would you kill all the 330 in a bloodbath? Fake corn, trap carbon, that photosynthetic engine wearing a Venus flytrap more efficiently like a turbocharger. Knowing me, I pulled up turbochargers. You'll be learning all about what they're hiding and their vague explanation for where that came from. Okay, so I did find, so I was looking for some water stuff. And then I typed in, I even wanted to save it. Thoughts must be past tense. The past tense of must is must. It remains unchanged in the past tense. So that's what I got when I searched that. I think this is a robot trying to help me with my questions. Then I did like, that's interesting. You know, I only had since last night the counterculture movement. Timothy Leary, turn on, tune in, drop out. His drop out wasn't drop out of school. It was drop out of the protesting, drop out of the worries of the world, get in tune with your mind, man. There has always been the influence, the interpretation, counterculture movement. What was the context of using it then? The same words to, I mean, turn on, tune in, drop out, different meanings in different contexts at different times. Why? Well, they want it that way. It was used one way, counterculture in the 60s, another way today as we look back and go, man, I think the world is better that they made the LSD equivalent with those other super hard drugs such as marijuana, heroin. You know, I'm making that's they're not dangerous. What is better for you? What is good for you? This is like, oh, it's got good. What's good for us? It's good for us to be here. They can build a tent. There's good seed. So this word is definitely a word for good. Things you must know about the word good. I got there by looking at James chapter 14. This word kalan, what is good, 2570. Let that enter into your short term memory. That's what's good. Knowing that you should do something good, and if you fail to do it, well, that's a sin. Whosoever knows the right thing to do, anyone who knows the right thing to do, yet fails to do it because it's not as easy as pushing buttons in a video game. Like if you had to ride your bike to the store, you can't just push a button. You actually have to pedal that, even if it's raining or you're going into the wind. Therefore, knowing to do good and not doing it is sin. That was a clear one. Here's another verse. And if your hand or foot is causing you to sin, is it really your hand or your foot? That seems to be the standard thing. So if your hand or your foot causes you to sin, not your thoughts, it's saying cut it off, throw it away, for it is better for you to enter life crippled or lame than with 2 hands or 2 feet to be thrown into the eternal fire. Better for you to enter life crippled or lame. Cut it off. That's that one. Whoa, whoa. It is necessary that temptations come. Okay. But woe to the one by whom the temptation comes. And if your hand or foot causes you to sin, cut it off, throw it away. It is better. And if your eye causes you to sin, tear it out, throw it away. Better, Charon. Huh. Wow. So there's that word 54 times. It's good fruit. Better. If you know to do these things and you do not do it, you might as well. It's sin. What is the word better? So there is a difference between what is good and what is better. Shouldn't be complex. The greater does the blessing. Lord has brought a better hope. It's a better covenant. It's gooder than good. It's more gooder than the better you can think about. For it is better if God wills. Peter again using he knows what's better. For the law made nothing perfect, and a better hope is introduced. It's better. Doing a little pre-Bible study before I get to all that. Like, wow, I was Alan Flatearth. Now I've got it all traced down because I was thinking thoughts. I was thinking, Father, what am I missing? I've got to think thoughts, huh? Think. What was I missing? I was missing Alan Flatearth, I guess. Perhaps also it served simply to express friendship. Will that be good? But I think it's more than that. Most noble Festus, most excellent. It's even better than gooder than good. It's more gooder than being better is to be Kratos. Put that in your Kratos pipe and smoke it. Most excellent Theophilus.
That same molecular trick. It was born to survive the dry spells and high sun of Mesoamerica. The very trait that lets grass turn continents green also let this unremarkable weed become the foundation of empires. Within that dynasty,
The what? The unremarkable weed that they I'm going to try to be patronizing. I'm just joking, young lady. Oh, darling, will you repeat that for me? You're going to have to run that by me one more time. What?
Crowned it into myth, and built economies and entire diets on its starch. We thought we bend it to our will, but in the end, we're the ones who submitted, reshaping our
What?
soil, economy, and some might say civilization itself. To see how that happened, we have to go back to where it all began, not in the prairies or the plains, but in a single valley in Mexico.
Single
Where the
Valley.
first farmers took a chance on a plant no one should have ever bothered with. Corn.
So there are so many of these weird coincidences. The artificial computer rewritten history covering up mud flood was Armageddon, flat Earth nation, golden age past. This has been a plan, and they have to throw this in too many times. That's a capital or just any T with two O's. That means too many.
Didn't begin as golden rose or waving fields. It's
This girl, she could be my daughter. It does. I mean, I like her way she talks.
started as a stubborn grass in the Balsas River Valley of southwestern Mexico. Small, wiry, almost nettable. Its ancestor, Teosinte, was a scraggly wild grass with just a few rock-hard kernels trapped in shells that were so tough you could break a tooth. You could chew one once. After that,
Darling, you are cuter than Dickens.
at Balsas Valley, one choice, one community, and one persistent experiment that transformed Teosinte's brittle spikelets into something soft, sweet.
That's something that could easily be genetically modified within 50 years of making it, a foot and a half long. And the kernels are like what milk duds used to be or something, and equally as poison. Here's another something.
Levels.
This was today. It had to be done today. Go. Hey, governor, go. Not of Colorado.
Too, but we need other states to be with us in that and take some cuts too.
The fight centers on one question: who takes the cuts? The battle lines are drawn between the 4 upper basin states, Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming, and the 3 lower basin states, Arizona.
So basically, what you're seeing here, this basin is what I'm the presbyter of all this. I didn't even know the Navajo Nation. When I went there, I told them, I said, this is not really your land. It's Shiloh. It's Jesus. A bunch of white people will be moving here. We don't want to hear any shit about this is our land from the beginning of creation. Okay, Noah Church didn't like that one bit. He didn't like that. They wanted to pray for rain. They got rain.
California, and Nevada.
The upper basin, really being led by Colorado, has refused to budge at all.
We ain't budging.
And refused to take any cuts.
The stakes are
You better
high.
believe we're not taking any cuts, you thieving, mafia-led.
The current agreement on how to share the river's water expires at the end of next year.
And by we, I mean me.
The federal government set Tuesday as the deadline for the 7 states to reach a deal. They didn't.
All right. Settle down, Paco. Because look, it's their water. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do anything to disrupt their water supply except tell people Colorado is the El Dorado of what's really gold, and that is the H2O. Or is it really H804? I don't know. But they can't stop me from getting the runoff, the snow melt, and storing it. This is the place where the fresh water is. Oh my goodness. The Zach Mack, We saw film clips in my water studies class where I'm going to at Adams State University, lesbian militant capital of Colorado, and they showed that Pagosa storm. Wow, that was bad. I cannot believe it. I mean, a tropical storm that came within 60 miles of us, and we didn't even notice it. And you guys got hammered, man, hammered. I saw the thing, man. I'm going to share right now to show you what Zach Mack, who travels around as a young adventurer looking for fun as a job while he's waiting for the end.
The 7 states.
There's some crazy things happening. I appreciate you following me, man. Would you call it 100-year flood? It seemed like my teacher thought it was a 500-year flood.
To the big story happening now, floodwaters continuing
60 miles away from me, and we didn't even get a drop.
through southwestern Colorado right now, and communities are shifting from rescue to recovery, but also with the threat of potentially more flooding on the way.
Right. We're not out of the woods yet. Drone video here taken from over the weekend showing high floodwaters.
Oh, they got hit like the next day. It was even worse.
And after days of torrential rain, the river reaching people's backyards. You could just see it free flowing out there and the levels that are rising. And then take a look at some of this damage done to roads and the bridges in the town. People living there calling it some of the worst flooding that they've seen in years. We have Fox 31's Aaliyah Sims live in Pagosa Springs, where the iconic hot springs took a direct hit. She joins us with what officials discussed in last.
God is punishing the tourist towns.
Leaders in Vallecito met last night to plan for what comes next. At last night's community meeting in Vallecito, officials shared new guidance, especially those with septic systems and wells impacted by floodwater. County officials say they'll start mapping and testing water system in the days ahead to make sure the flooding hasn't caused long-term contamination or damage. Take a listen to this warning to homeowners before you head back home.
What you need to know is when you are returning to your property.
Oh, we're sorry. You can't just pour concrete and go like we fixed it. Anyway, I guess they got it back up and running. They threw a bunch of money at that baby. A little bit more on, we're not giving you any more water, Katie. We do not have enough.
So what happens now?
The question is what happens after 2026? And
wow, that seems so close.
There's a huge amount of uncertainty.
Sarah Porter is a water policy expert. She says the 7 states could still reach a deal, or the federal government could step in and enforce.
That is not Adams State University. That's Arizona State University. They have a brainwashing college for trying to make people pass up $1 million contracts for the NFL and go fight in Afghanistan and get killed. I'm talking about that guy, Kyle. The ASU in Alamosa is the militant lesbian capital of Colorado. So there are two different ASUs.
Its own water cuts. It's not clear what that would look like. But if the feds base cuts on priority levels from the 100-year-old original agreement,
then the cuts will primarily fall on Central Arizona, on the users of water from the Central Arizona project. Because
and don't you think that you're getting any out of the Rio Grande either, Texas and Mexico? I mean, New Mexico. Mexico gets their water from the Colorado River. So I searched this, and these are the weird things that came up. I'll show you in a second what I got, what I was looking for, what I think I was looking for. But in the meantime, I had fun with this. This happened in Manchester. No. That Hurricane Melissa in Jamaica. I think Manchester still thinks they own Jamaica. Really got it bad. This was one of those category 5s. You'll be okay. Is that a star fort? The star fort's going to make it. It'll be okay. That's why this house made it. Yeah, whatever they got going here for flood control or something. It's a bummer right now. Enough of that. So I searched this thought. What is a thought? Maybe I'll have that later. Now I've got this.
And take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. And thou shalt.
These are all shadows of the true substance of what we are living stones will be fit into a stone-centered world, New Jerusalem, same sound and vibration that made this mess, but it'll be better. It'll be gooder, better, noble.
Shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother for glory and for beauty. And these are the garments which they shall make: a breastplate and an ephod and a robe and a broidered coat, a mitre and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother and his sons, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. And they shall make the ephod of gold, of blue, and of purple, of scarlet, and fine twined linen.
That is
cunning
cool.
work. It shall have the 2 shoulder pieces thereof joined at the 2 edges thereof. After the work of the ephod thou shalt make it, of gold, of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, and of fine twine, the 2 wreathen chains of gold in the 2 rings which are on the ends of the breastplate.
Anyway, that's not the one I wanted to show you.
Hello friends, welcome to Thinking on Scripture. My name is Stephen Cook, and today I want to talk about the clothing of the Jewish high priest, that is, of the Jewish high priest who served in ancient of the high priest. First, you have the turban at the top. Now, the turban was white, just like the tunic was white, and that was the basic tunic that was worn by all priests, and this was worn directly against the body. So it was worn against the body. So you have the turban, which was white, and on the turban was also a gold plate that read, "Holy to the Lord, holy to the Lord." And this was to remind the high priest constantly that God is holy.
Isn't it better to have a human explain it?
And that he expects his people to be holy. And so it read, "Holy to the Lord." Now you had the white tunic, which again was worn against the body. And the next piece of clothing would have been the blue robe, and this would have been worn over the white tunic. And so the blue
Let's
robe.
skip ahead un momento. Hey, you already habla español?
Then on top of the blue robe, you had the ephod. And the ephod was really made of the same material as the veil itself that separated the holy place from the Holy of Holies. And it would
nerd guy, I'm looking for the Thummim and the Urim.
have been very, very attractive. It was a beautiful piece of clothing. And it had the colors of blue and purple and scarlet. So again, very attractive piece of clothing. And there was a front part of the ephod and a back part. And the front and the back were connected with these 2 onyx stones. That's what secured the back part of the ephod with the front part of the ephod. And on these 2 stones would have been the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. 6 names on one stone and 6 names on the other stone. So the priest would have been able to look down to his left or look down to his right, and he would have seen the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. And
that's interesting.
So the sash, which came around at the midsection, and this also helps secure the front and the back of the ephod. So you had the sash, and then you had the breast piece. Now the breast piece went on the front of the ephod.
He makes a big deal out of it, folds up, and you can see that it does fold up, and sometimes that's I think when they're talking about the one prophet that said, if you carry, bread in your pocket, does it become unclean if you touch a dead person? Oh, yes, it does. He's trying to go like, well, you know the law, but you do not do it.
And it folded up on itself. If you look at the picture, it folded up on itself and it formed a pocket. And this was sometimes called the breastpiece of judgment or the breastpiece of decision, because inside this pocket there were the Urim and the Thummim. Now, there's been a lot of speculation. We don't have much detail on what the Urim and Thummim were. Some think it was two stones, like a black and a white stone. Again, we can't be dogmatic. But apparently, the Urim and the Thummim were
I can dogmatically say, what difference does it make?
used to decide important matters, maybe judicial matters, maybe
It
military.
was used to decide everything. They were casting lots, and it was always right. That was then, not now. What?
As the word of God. Every response to flat earth, content online is either mocking or it approaches the science, but nothing approaches the Bible.
Right.
Like nothing I could find anyways really approaches the Bible. Even scholars, like Christian scholars, will affirm that the Bible does teach a flat earth.
This appeared edited exactly as you see on your screen.
It's the same guy. A little bit nerdier with his Hobbit, and I believe one of their protagonists in the series was trapped in a star fort called Isengard.
On the TikTok channel, I'm not on TikTok. I mean, I have an account there. We just post things. I don't go on TikTok personally unless I have to for some reason. So I'm not too familiar with it. But Flat Earthers Proofs is the name of the channel on TikTok where they posted this thing. Excuse me, I have to adjust this. It's a little off. All right, listen. No hate to my Flat Earth friends. None at all. But I stand firm that you're getting the Bible wrong. And so
No, we're not. You are. Go ahead.
I already have public videos teaching why I think Calvinism is unbiblical. If you were going to be really offended, it would have happened already. But
right, we know you're a big Bible guy. You're the man. What do you got? 500,000 subscribers? Double that. You cannot stop getting more and more popular.
Right. It doesn't give us one answer. It says sometimes it's because of sin, right? The heavens are closed against you because of your rebellion. Sometimes it's lack of faith, unbelief, right? That's the reason why. Sometimes unanswered prayer is simply delay, where God wants us to be fervently praying and continuing to seek him and continuing to pray. And so then if you think, oh, lack of faith, sin, but yet it's just continuance. God's building long suffering into your life. So it's character.
Well, we know what he was doing 10 years ago. I wonder what Paco was doing. No, not this guy again. Okay. Hey, that's Alan Flat Earth. I made a short-lived channel that when I was thinking those deep thoughts, Lord said, "What do you try to find your old channel?" And it was right there, almost impossible to find. And so I guess I made a silent video. Look, her hand is pointing at the word ass. I find some other things. I see them now. Do you see the Apollo rocket? You're not looking hard enough. Do you see the girl with her legs spread? This is a commercial. It's supposed to take place in an instant. Oh, that's at 6 seconds. So I point out that it's pointing to ass. 8 dolls. One has the leg spread. She is being pointed to while left hand points to the word ass. And the other one is pointing to the girl with the spread legs. It's funny. These girls do not have their legs spread, although I'm sure they're pointing at mysterious 11 seconds in. I might have been expecting people to look too hard. So there's the Apollo rubbing your face in it. It feels good. That was me 10 years ago. I'm still flat earth all the way, even more, if that's possible. 20 seconds in, I'm showing the Apollo thing. Okay, there's also an owl and the, what is that? Mastodon? Anteater owl. Barbie commercial, 30 seconds in. What do we got? Enough owl. Butterfly. Okay, that's above her head. I thought it was cute 10 years ago. Can't think of a better term. What's this? Oh, well, okay. Another butterfly with geometric folding and a gold relic. I guess this little thing here is what I'm calling a butterfly, along with the bigger one on the top right, in case you were thinking I didn't see the butterfly. 42 seconds in, nothing big there. Switching here. Okay, so now the girl's closed and her arm is finished pointing to the word ass. Is that it? Oh, I'm saying that's all you got. I'm closing this video. I made a channel before I did Flat Earth Nation, Golden Age Past. I did this one too, another 53-second thing. Shows a little girl. There's a Lakers thing. What are we looking at here? Child abuse. What I'm going for. I should like my video. Okay, so 20 seconds in. Let's go back to the start. Subliminal proof. Potty mouth boy from a movie called Daddy's Home. It was new. So 8 seconds in, I'm stop framing. He's playing pocket pool. Maybe he's got a surprise. She's going for the surprise. She's got it. She got it. Hey, hey. Daddy's home. Is that all I showed? We see what they want us to see, according to me. Thoughts, according to them, refer to cognitive process that occur independently of direct stimulation, independently of direct sensory stimulation. Core forms include judging through thought, reasoning through thought, concept formation via thought, problem solving, or problem causing, deliberation, all things that make you think. Like, what do I need to do? Put Gloria Steinem in, she's an FBI agent. How should we get her to endorse? Well, let's call it third wave feminism. Other processes, entertaining an idea, and then you think of, like, I used to have a channel. What was I doing 10 years ago? Oh, I was going to start reading Revelation different. Alan Flat Earth wasn't going to work because, baby, it was a flat earth nation and the golden age was past. I shouldn't have said ivermectin so many times. They warned me, but I wouldn't listen. I thought they were kidding because they kept, it's like If you get warned 20 times, you're thinking it's a joke, right? What is this? Files of something. Oh, this guy, Alan McFarlane, he was big on the BBC. Anthropology, the day everything started. Family was famous. He went to the famous Griffin School, the Dragon School. We needed him. They needed him then so they could get ready for Harry Potter. Something happened. She helped. She helped them. Witches. Alan McFarlane, witches, magic, the Inquisition. He has everything from 1970. Witchcraft in Tudor Stuart England. You can order it here. We'd rather have the synopsis. Por favor. Problems and sources in the study of witchcraft. Well, if you want to put something out there so you can rub their face in it later, nothing better than some of that. What kind of films does he recommend? Visit to Earl's Essex 2000. So he stayed alive for 90 years, and he was famous there, making BBC academic-led anthropology. Do you show any of them? No, not that one. How about this one? Yep, there you go. Now we're cooking with that. How old is this? I've never heard of this.
If I'd remained a historian, I'd been trained as a historian, I'd done a history, DPhil and so on. And the normal course would have been for me to get a job in history and become a don and write books about English history and things. Instead, in 1968, I went to Nepal and spent 15 months studying a Gurung village in central Nepal. Then I came back and finished off a PhD in anthropology. And then we did the Earl's Cone study. And it was looking at it through the eyes of both an English person, but also someone who had actually lived in a peasant village and seen what...
Okay, got a weird dog in the background, blah, blah, blah. This might have been a bad idea.
And going to Nepal, therefore, was necessary for writing about England. Writing and start understanding.
Always searching, but never finding. This is my history, huh? I hope I picked this one.
This is where the villains live, and the underground bases mythology now. Were those underground bases in the actual books at the time? I can't remember.
No, they were pretty much a product of the films.
Yeah.
You know, Fleming had his villains hiding out in on islands, you know, secret islands in various places. But in terms of underground bases, they were created by the screenwriters of the films.
The franchise thought that was important to put in. Good. Thanks.
Exactly. And we hear so much about underground bases, DOMs and such. And we get that again in Diamonds Are Forever. That's a very revelatory film. We've heard about some different aspects of it. We also had this underground villain's lair, which was very much modeled on Area 51, one of the deep underground military bases. So the question arises, just how much did the screenwriters of these films know about stuff that really goes on?
How are we doing? One more question. Coming round to you.
Which was written for his young son. And the screenplay for it, which was made into a movie in 1967, was written by Roald Dahl, co-written by Roald Dahl. And that's where we got the introduction of the character of the child catcher. Deeply sinister, deeply unsettling. I said there weren't any pedophilic elements to this, but maybe there are, that I forgot. So Roald Dahl introduced the child catcher character. He wasn't there in the original book. We've got some tie-ins here to the London 2012 Olympics opening ceremony, which was an occult ritual absolutely steeped in symbolism. We had Russell Brand, you know, that consciousness warrior, that truther hero, playing the part of the child catcher within that ritual. And some further overlap back into James Bond from that event came from Daniel Craig appearing with the Queen in a sequence specially filmed for that ceremony. So the London 2012 Olympics.
I hope you'll pardon me, but they got you by the
Opening ceremony was all about British icons and parts of British culture. And so James Bond had been firmly instilled within the British psyche as a mainstay of our culture in this land. And you just don't get to that position. No character gets to that status unless they're serving various agendas and unless they're doing the bidding of the control system that we've got. It just doesn't happen. So it's very...
he means basically, when it comes to the actors in that type of a situation, you don't get into it unless you've been on your knees. I see Big James Breeden is in the house. I hope he's sticking around. That was a little bit ago, but always good to see you, big fella. Interesting.
The Pacific Northwest has its enigmas. Bigfoot, D.B. Cooper, a long history of UFO sightings. But sometimes mysteries are literally underfoot. Just south of Puget Sound is a vast pimpled prairie featuring over 600 acres of earth sculpted.
You know what else is really weird? And I consider this part of that area, that Northern California, Mount Shasta. I used to laugh at people and tell me about, oh, there's orbs there. And they float around the trees like they're curious about the trees. Then they go away. And then I went there to see the Neowise comet, whenever that was. And there are orbs there. It's weird. Anyway, these are man-made. They dug them up. They weren't graves. I wanted you to see how they know they're man-made.
Goosebumps. They have been the subject of study, speculation, and scientific theorizing for nearly 200 years. Yet we still don't know what
That's when they
or
found
who
them.
made them. How hard can it be to
Yeah.
The area said they were created suddenly by water, perhaps a flood.
That's ridiculous. Hopefully they kept studying.
Of permafrost. Did a flood of melted ice shape them?
Nope, that's wrong.
Melting ice from Mount Rainier's Carbon Glacier, creating what geologists call glacial lake carbon.
Man, that's just stupid.
The mounds are relatively evenly sized and spaced, about 7 to 40 feet in diameter and 4 to 7 feet high. They consist of soil mixed with silt, sand, and gravel, and are covered by prairie soil and vegetation.
That'll weigh.
Were these some supersized prehistoric gophers? Research biologists more recently have suggested.
Wow, are they even trying to find out what? Dude, hey, Santa. Hey, man, I'm drawing a blank. What do they call that thing again? Hey, Trident boy.
Under the right conditions, vibrations from seismic waves could redistribute loose soil into evenly.
You're a maniac. Absolute maniac.
Fortunately, many of the Mima mounds here are protected within a special prairie preserve. You can wander among them.
Hey, Trident boy, you remember that this started I'm not sure I did pull that up. I think I was going to do this where I highlight it, right click it, search the thing, and show you that no, these are man-made and they know it. So there they are. So maybe I gotta find that other image. I know that where it shows the bottom of them are lined with rocks. They were made on purpose, man. Search it and you'll see. Anyway, I was convinced that these are man-made and this is the only place in the world. If it was something that happened in the body parts of the Titans, I'd know about it. So I had it pulled up. So the turbocharger, look at this. Naturally aspirated engine. That's your forced induction through a turbocharger. Again, the Wright brothers' first airplane, they poured gas into it and lit it on fire, and it somehow made their piston go up and down. And then within 35 years, they had a turbocharger on these V8s, and they could put machine guns on them and fly them for miles. The turbocharger. Get rid of that one. Get rid of Trident Boy. Go back to actually what's better, turbocharging, supercharging. There, you see, you get it, right? It's sucked in here, and if you burn enough gas, this goes fast enough to where you can spin something else, and it turbocharges your engine. You're set up. There's one. We all know what they look like. That's that thing they introduced to help it in 35 years. It wasn't released from some previous gear-minded crew. History shows they got these. They built this. They out of nowhere. So that you could kind of date stamp this, the genius of the turbocharge from when they say that 1903 internal combustion was used to fly an airplane to this. Good work, number 8. Or is that the infinity signal? An analemma Mobius strip. Ode to the true believers who released this information. I think they were the Fabians, the wolves in sheep clothing. I'm changing my voice. It's inflection. So the first supercharger was in 1878. I don't believe that a bit. With usage in aircraft beginning in 1910. Why didn't they use it in 1903? Usage in cars in the 1920s. Wait a minute. Do they even know the difference? A supercharger is a device which compresses your exhaust fumes, forcing more air into the engine in order to produce more power, to give it more displacement for more power. It is a form of forced induction. Okay, 1878, where? That is mechanically powered, usually by a belt from an engine's crankshaft. Okay, as opposed to a turbocharger? That's the same picture, lady. Which is powered by kinetic energy of your exhaust gases or your intake gases. Same thing, supercharger, they call them different things. However, up to the mid 1950s, a turbocharger was called as turbo supercharger. Am I confusing you? It's because I'm reading how they try to confuse us. And then they switched gears and go, oh yeah, we had one in 1878. Blah, 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 blah. And now we've got electric ones. Well, where's their exhaust fumes? Or did you just get gift delivered that crazy gear ratio? I think you guys are lying somehow. We can't put our finger on it. Like that gemstone thing. I decided I'd look up somebody's mad. Oh, you stole my laser. And I wrote a gemstone thing. Jackie Onassis and Aristotle Onassis, JFK. It was all a mafia hit. So I look up ruby lasers. Dang. It was a synthetic ruby guy. And it was the Hughes Research Labs. It was that guy killed because he was saying they stole my thing too loud. But he had that handwritten fail safe. What's that switch they call it when you die? And they go like, "Oh yeah, well now take my handwritten thing that's been told to pass it out and spread it around." They got laser rods. You can see it through a crystal. That's a fake ruby. Can't make a ruby look like that. So they jumped up in their wavelength. Their optical infrared spectra just went out the chart. So there's the original. That guy that got killed and wrote the gemstone said they stole from me. I know how to make the synthetic rubies. And Howard Hughes said, no, you don't. I do. There's one. There's another one. Now, doggone it, there was supposed to be this thing. The next one up, I'm looking for some indulgence here. Please forgive me when I go back in my history. I got to show you this one thing. Come on. I'll do it this way. At least I'll get.
Love Me Do, songs of this nature. By 1966, midway through their relatively short career.
A single
I'm looking for my history. That's all of that was to get this one thing. I showed RJ flood ranges. We're almost there. Those are the videos I showed. Refreshed my memory. Something isn't right. That was weird. This was weird. Tased for talking.
These are the facts of our political life. Sudden death is not just an overtime in professional football. The article that follows, the Gemstone File, a condensation of a 1,000-page manuscript, may be considered by many to be a work of madness. But remember, through the ages, all innovative work of genius has been thought to be the product of insanity. One need only reflect on the spectacle of Galileo recanting before the
That was a Jesuit plot.
close. Material we have obtained as a result of our advertisements calling for information about the JFK assassination. Nor do we intend to maliciously cast ill will toward it.
Is it really that much? I mean, back to the ruby laser. Would they have made that much? The rewrite history of from 1958. I got another idea. Let's see.
We are going to be looking at some creepy videos, strange and odd news stories. They can have news and media spread some kind of bogus story, have people really worrying, and then they can have people in hazmat suits go to these farms, target cows, pigs, chickens, all types of animals, and say, well, we're worried about the bird flu, we're worried about this disease, we have to
So
go
they
ahead and
killed the
exterminate
ostrich.
your livestock.
But somehow made it that in the last couple of weeks that Apple have now to disable that on all UK phones. So if you have a phone in the UK and it's an iPhone, sorry, you will notice in your privacy settings that you will not have the ability to turn that feature on anymore. You won't even have the feature, okay? Because the government have now made them turn it off, right? The reasons so that they can have access to what they deem as
You know, you can say there's nothing going on. It's going to always be like this. They said that before.
The legal processes.
They can track it very easily, and I think so they can track us.
Does that worry you?
Yeah, a little bit, just because they are just one click away from our information, and it's like a privacy issue.
I guess Pakistan and India are dusting up again today. Go.
Let me know in the comments what you think.
One of the reasons we started talking about boron really was...
Is that Cheeto, the guy that lived above the garage of O.J. Simpson? That's how old this technology is?
And it actually shows what these nanoparticles, these nanotechnologies are actually capable of in the human body. And it's very, very eerie.
Okay, folks, I want you to watch a demonstration of nanotech. This is little micro robots, yeah, performing tasks. This one is moving the fat and getting into the blood, yeah. As you can see, it's moving it along there, see, and helping. This one's going to put the circuit and create the light. You see how clever it is? Yeah. Now, there's conspiracy
So
theories.
let's see. That would have been, when did OJ get framed for killing Nicole Simpson? 1994?
Out there that this is in
I
the
don't know.
V and building chips in people's bodies. Now, what you'll see is it froze that up there. Yeah. It's that intelligent that it knew it couldn't get up. So what it does, and you'll see it here, it chucks it up. It froze it up. Watch, look. Froze one over. Yeah. So the intelligence is obviously coming from us via some Wi-Fi connection or something like that. But I just wanted you to see nanotech and how advanced it really is, folks. That's all. Here it is. Just to give you a little idea of, what's going on in the technology world, if you like, and where we're at.
I'm sorry. I'm 35 years late.
So nicotine is the killer.
What? Yeah. They knew this then, what I've been saying for the last 10 years? Back it up. Closed caption it. What?
If you like, and where we're at. So nicotine is the killer. Yeah, it will kill all this. The Australian scientists have already shown that in videos now. So if you want to get rid of this, I wouldn't say start smoking. I'd just say get some nicotine in you.
Please make it organic if you can, because anyway, then I thought about Pearl Buck, famous Christian author, first woman to write the book that win the Pulitzer and the Nobel Prize, whatever the big prizes are. Pearl Buck did it. Born in Virginia, moved to China. Chinese was her first language. Born of liberal Presbyterian parents. Survived the rape of Nanking. She remarried later, kept her first name, became famous woman for women's rights. Look at there, Nobel Prize from the King Gustav. Not number 2, number 5. Here, take a picture of me while I look humble. Use it in this sculpture. And you'll know about her for the rest of your life because she was epic depictions in her masterpiece book. Huh. won some awards. Christian feminism. Anybody? Anybody? So it comes from all sides. What is the fundamentalist modernist controversy that he started in the Presbyterian Church in the United States, the liberal first one to ordain women it from 1789 to 1958 when everyone changed. Here's what they said: you can practice Christianity and it won't lead to ordaining transgendered people. We doubted it. But they said, no, the Bible's not infallible. The Bible is not true. The dissent, I would say so. There it is. But it was Princeton all along. Star Force, cover them up. Evolution, jam it, fake it. Spiritualism, Blavatsky, Ian Fleming, Aleister Crowley. It's the same thing. When they said turn on, tune in, drop out, it was because they wanted human beings to drop out of all this protesting, take some LSD and ponder the meanings of life, maybe from a different culture's point of view. But your protesting and blowing up buildings has to stop, man. That's the group that later chose Barack Obama, the Weather Underground. You've heard it. You know the story.
Here's another one. Gloria Steinem, credited with being the mother of the modern feminist movement. She was behind Ms. magazine, and she encouraged women during those times to get out of the home and get into the workplace. And the way it was sold to them was, hey sisters, we can do anything our male counterparts do. We don't want to be left behind, do we? We can do the same jobs as them. We can earn the same salaries as them. The real agenda here was breaking up the traditional family unit in recognition of how problematic the cohesion.
If there are problems and men have been in charge because they listen to the Bible, exo dipto facto.
Never happened. Sharon Tate was the daughter of Lieutenant Colonel Paul Tate, another high-ranking military official.
I'm married to a girl named Susan Tate, whose father was named Paul Tate.
She was also an actress and the wife of a Hollywood director. And these murders took place up there in the Hollywood Hills, directly above
Laurel Canyon, where because the atmospheric river hit there, and I said that would be the throne of Satan well before, and when it was supposed to hit San Diego, it hit Beverly Hills, Laurel Canyon, where this girl lived.
All these major film studios where there was ready access to extras, film props, and plenty of fake blood. Mathis makes a very compelling argument for why that event cannot have happened the way we're told it did. He presents photographic evidence where so-called dead bodies have moved position. Sharon seems to be smiling in certain photographs where she's supposed to be dead. There's all kinds of reasons to suspect that this event did not go off the way we're told it did. And in some ways, that's kind of reassuring because it was an event that was used to scare the bejesus out of the American public and
kind of like 9/11 2001, right, RJ?
Completely traumatize a generation. The trial was televised for months on end, so all the grisly
kind of like the OJ trial in the 90s, right?
Details that are supposed to have gone down at this event were kept in the minds of the American public for a very long period.
Kind of like the Russia hoax.
And that was the idea. It was to present the idea to Middle America.
Wait a minute, that this January 6th thing was, that bomb was planted by a FBI 5'7" girl with a limp?
The hippies, embodied by Charles Manson and his crazy, dangerous followers, were all these crazy, murderous drug-addled maniacs, and that whole scene had to be put to bed. The social
Like in The Shining?
Sets up a group of 40 advisors to fight Onassis. August 1963. 2 murders have to occur before the murder of JFK. People who could understand the situation and might squawk. Senator Estes Kefauver, whose Crime Commission investigations had uncovered the 1932 Onassis deal. Kefauver plans a speech on the Senate floor denouncing mafia operations. Instead, he eats a piece of apple pie laced with sodium morphate, allegedly a poison, and has a heart attack on the Senate floor. Philip Graham, publisher of the Washington Post. Philip had married Catherine Meyer, Eugene Meyer's daughter. Phil put together media empire as well as Kennedy Johnson ticket, and is Kennedy's friend in the struggle against Onassis. According to Gemstone, a psychiatrist is bribed to certify Phil insane. He is allowed out of the nut house for 1 weekend and dies of a shotgun wound to the head in the Graham home in Washington. His death is ruled.
His wife inherits the newspaper. They get a tip from somebody named Deep Throat. The files come out. Watergate's exposed. Pentagon files, their version of history.
Brading, on parole after a series of crimes, applied for a new driver's license, explaining to the California Department of Motor Vehicles that he had decided to change his name to Jim Braden. Brading gets his California parole officer's permission for 2 trips to Dallas in November on oil business, the first time to look things over, and the second time when JFK is scheduled to make his Dallas trip.
He looks very comfortable with that cigar in his mouth.
Lee Plaza across the street from the grassy knoll. Brading misses because Roselli and Fratiano's shots had hit Kennedy in the head from the right and the rear nearly simultaneously. Brading's shot hit the curb and ricochets off. Brading is photographed on the scene stuffing his
That's not a scene. That's not a shot from that day.
Gun under his coat. He wears a big leather hat, its hatband marked with a large, conspicuous X. Police had been instructed to let anyone with an X-marked hatband pass through the police lines. Some may have been told they were Secret Service. The front door, his backup man is supposed to take the rifle out of the building, or so Oswald thinks. Instead, he hides it behind some boxes where it will go.
Hey, is that Charlie Kirk hiding a weapon in his pants? I don't think so.
Uses Tippett's police car radio to report, "We've had a shooting here." A Domingo Benavides also appears in connection with the shooting of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
What do they call those guys? Paid actors? Crisis actors.
Oswald goes to the movies. A shoe store manager tells the theater cashier that a suspicious-looking man has sneaked in without paying. 16 police charge out to the Texas theater to look for the guy who sneaked in. Oswald has been given a pistol that doesn't fire. Others anticipate that the police...
So 10 years ago, I was all about this kind of, I thought Eric DeBay did it. I was all about this. Save me, huh?
Just walked around it. I'm not kidding at all, and it's not because I smoke. I am so tired. I had a lot of good sleep last night. I just feel like what I laid out there, I wish I was wrong more often, but I'm not. That's what that place is. That's the deal on it, folks.
Wonder what I said.
It's like the pyramids, covered in gold. People still go there all the time, man, because they're told about it. Hey, wow, look what they did. There are libraries. I don't want to hear. They didn't know what the number 0 was.
So this was 6 months away from the second vision, Flat Earth Nation Golden Age past.
Well, I'm outside the Brush Creek, down from the Serpent Mound area. Try to, you know what this guy posted is stairs. Oh. Across the creek. Jeez, come on. So this had to be it. Hey, Miles right there. Might have got a picture of leaned over.
So right here is where that snake is eating the egg. This was my way back from New York City to buy that van to help me travel. I ran into this.
I'm outside Warren, New Jersey. Just passing through. See this rock wall. I can tell that's not a really good view, but it runs this way. I'm gonna go back out. Continues on.
Well, I did have that video pulled up. Hey, it's going down. This is within a year of the next midterm and then possibly the last election before we're invaded and this virus thing happens again. It's time to start making plans to have that talk with your loved one, your wife, and tell her, look, I know we live in a world where we have children, but we live in a world where we have children because you allowed it. Women could kill the children. They could divorce you at any minute and say, I've changed my mind. You can't do that. You're not in charge anymore. There has to be a time when the Bible is believed and men are in charge. It will happen in this judgment. The men who are in charge have a spirit written on their heart because a veil has been lifted that it's time to beat your sword into a plowshare. And men who have been made wise know to do good, and that is to be there very available to offer children non-poisoned water, a safe place for the old and the infirm to ride this baby out in the woods and be rescued by fire and let them be called blessed. If you're not on board with that, you're not on board with what's been the truth for the last 10 years. And it's still building. And if they want to take it down that road of inclusionism, you're no better than the DEI diversity crew. There's is separation and a narrow road. Christ came to cause the division to get people on the narrow road. They know it's a flat earth nation. The golden age is past because the mud flood was Armageddon. They added the 1,000 years. You got an orphan train brain. Some people you love are in on it. Me and my friends are never going to tell you anything else except we know we're called, we know we're chosen, we know we want to be faithful unto death, to not be blotted out of the book of life that our name was entered into because of faith, knowing right soil, right talents, right seed, much expectations. Amen. Hallelujah. Aho. Aloha. Arrivederci. Ciao. Arrivederci. Ciao. Sayonara. Auf Wiedersehen. Nakame. Adios, amigos. It's not what you say, It's how you say it.